Men's soccer at Schellenberger Field on Wednesday night. Lynchburg will host Christopher Newport University. CNU's head coach Steve Shaw joined me on the Sports Buffet podcast to talk a little bit about the captains and more. It's Christopher Newport, head men's soccer coach Steve Shaw. Sports Buffet podcast.
Always fun to catch up with the head coach of Christopher Newport, Steve Shaw. The men's soccer team headed up to Lynchburg on Wednesday for a tilt with the Hornets. And Coach, you guys have gotten hot lately, 3 out of 4 in the W column. What's going right for the CNU soccer team?
Well, this is a new look for us because we graduated a good group of seniors last year, and so I think that we are starting to figure out how we're going to play with the new guys that are getting a lot of time compared to last year. So I think that after I guess you would say, injury-riddled preseason, and we had some sickness and everything, most of the guys are starting to get back to normal, and so we're starting to play better together.
When you have a team early in the season that is not used to playing with each other and everything, is there any way that you can accelerate the comfortability, if you get what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's kind of a tough question. You always try to do that, and I think it's a matter of how you set up your practices, what you want to work on. Also, how are you going to get the best out of each player according to the gifts that they bring to the table, and change, if necessary, some of the stylistic, points that your team puts onto the field.
Obviously, I think a lot of people view the USA South as it goes through CNU a lot of times in men's soccer. Talk about the pride of having such a prestigious program in the conference.
Well, we're proud of our program. We're proud of the guys, not only on the field, but the way they act, and also their academics. We have 100%, probably in the last 5, 6, 7 years, graduation rate. So they're quality kids, we think, and, we're just trying to go for excellence. We don't brag about it. We just do the best that we can and see if we can represent and play a beautiful brand of soccer, and so far we've been able to be, pretty successful.
Individually, who has impressed you so far in the season from your group?
Well, this is not going to be a team full of stars or even with stars on it. So I think at the end of the year there will be 10 people that have scored goals, and it won't be, we may not have an All-American this year. We may not even have many all-region players, but we have some pretty good leadership. Sean Moriarty is a first-team All-American last year, and he's had to play in a different position, and he's done really well. He was one of the guys that was not only hurt but sick, and now he's back and he's playing very well, and he's getting his game conditioned, so he's done well. Our goalkeeper has done a pretty good job. He had never been in the nets before, and that's Sean Killian. Another leader is going to be Andrew Benorden, we call him Bo, and he's a senior and a goal scorer, and brings a lot of leadership. His attitude is great on the field and always puts 100% effort into it. So those guys have done well. The defense has grown up a little bit. Last year we were a little young. Alec Faulkner is only a sophomore, and he's playing great in the back, as is Tommy O'Neill. And, so I think it's going to be a team effort, this year.
Not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, but do you almost like it better when it's a team effort rather than, 1 or 2 stars and then everybody else, I don't want to say is mediocre, but, I'm a big Yankees fan, which might end the phone call because I know you're from Boston, but, a team I know that they had in, 98, which had 100 and some wins, there wasn't a real superstar effort by one guy, but a lot of guys were hitting 300 or 310 or 320. I mean, is that kind of what you like with CNU, or when you have that 1 or 2 superstars that you can rely on?
Well, regardless of the makeup of the team, it's all about chemistry. Mm-hmm. And so you can have a team that does not have superstars and still do really well because of the definition of the team. If you have great chemistry, which is done. Now, that's something that I try to promote all the time, and we talk about it all the time. We try to downplay, people taking over the game. I mean, we want people to buy into our mission, which is to live for others and to play as a team, with the same mind and the same spirit. And I think that's the key to our program right there. And if we don't play like that, if we don't act like that, then regardless of the stars that we may have, we're just not going to be successful. And I believe that with all my heart.
Talk about Wednesday, Lynchburg at Schellenberger Field up in the Hill City. What worries you about the Hornets? Or is it a situation when you play in these out-of-conference games? How much do you know about the other teams normally going in?
Well, we know a little bit, of course. We know from being around for a long time the style that a coach likes to play. I think the ODAC conference is a very tight conference. It's very competitive. They're very aggressive teams in the way that they play with a high energy, and so we expect that, and we expect that that's going to be difficult to break down. And so we're really not going to change anything that we do. We just have to be aware of how the other teams play and see if we can use whatever talent we have to overcome what they're going to throw at us. And all sports, I guess, are, you could say sports that are a game of inches, and soccer is no different. We outplayed some of the teams that we haven't beaten this year, and of course in the past. That doesn't mean that you're going to win just because you outplay them. So you're going to have to execute, and if we execute, then hopefully we're going to be successful.
Final question for you, Coach. Definitely appreciate your time. Look forward to doing this again down the road. Do you have 2 or 3 specific keys that would give you guys a W on Wednesday?
I think we need to figure out a way to break down the way they play. They do play a little bit differently than many teams, and I just think that we need to come out flying and execute when we do come up with some opportunities.
Coach, definitely appreciate your time. Best of luck against Lynchburg, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, thank you very much.